Hello, Saudi Captains. Welcome back to Thailand, to Blitar here from Thailand. Hope you're doing well. One Sao here in Thailand. It's Friday, and for instance, another lovely sunny day in Thailand. Another 30 degree heat day, but we have it every day. So I know in Britain it's 30 degrees. You're moaning, go out in the sun, being hot, and go walking out without and sunbathing without sun cream on. You idiots. So, for instance, they're all getting burnt. Exactly. So, for instance, it's what I have to put up with every single day. Okay, in fact, it's cool at the moment because it's only 30 degrees. Anyway, so I just got a bit of a. Yeah, no, I just been listening to, and you listen to, what was it called, the Radio 2 last night, for instance, and they were talking about weather warnings and talk about heat stroke and talk about, oh my God, it's just ridiculous, honestly. And how experts predict this is going to be the what's it called? This is going to be the summer of summers, and it's going to be like this now. And we're going to have more hot summers than we are in winter. And it's like repeat the same thing that we said for the last 10 years, 20 years. It's unbelievable. It's ridiculous. The media, seriously. Oh God, you've either got the sports British media talking absolutely through their backsides, or we got the standard British media just doing the same thing and waffling. Anyway, so. Okay, so we've got day after, for instance, after basically after our win over Wydad, 2-0 win over Wydad, and again, for instance, and there's the people, for instance, are moaning about the fact that Man City and but the thing is, we've won the game, and for instance, got no injuries, won the game, played a much weakened squad against a tricky team. Not the best, a tricky team who, to them, that was their Club World Cup final, as it were. Playing against Manchester City, playing against this massive side, and they know they're not going to get any further. But they could have scored against us, but we didn't. And so our friends will come off with a win. And again, it's all about picking up the points and moving on. Tournament football. Anyway. The fact is, what I'm saying, the reason why I'm saying this, and I also said you've got to keep an eye out because a lot of Europeans were, saying, the Club World Cup, it's nothing, and there's always going to be European teams going to win it, and blah blah blah. Well, that's not absolutely turning out the way people expect, and I knew, and I was saying yesterday, and I said the day before, and said it all the time, that these South American teams are taking it bloody seriously. And if you're not on your game, you're going to fall off the game. E.g., for example, PSG, who have just lost to Bogatov. Okay? So, for instance, then a lot of people will be going, who? Now, to sit there and say that PSG wasn't, for instance, dominated the game or anything like that, but to say that, the stats, kind of prove it. But what was it? 74% possession, 16 shots, 2 shots, 16 shots, but only 2 on target. Where the Boxov had 4 shots and 4 on target. But so that's interesting. But with saying that also, Igor Jesus on 36 minutes beat PSG for 1-0. So there you are. So what does that say? So that means actually puts PSG now in second position in the table. For instance, so you've got Bogatov goal got on 6 points, PSG on 3 points. Atletico, who won, beat Seattle Sounders. Good game as well. I enjoyed the game. For instance, 3-1. So they got the first 3 points. And so it's it's going to be interesting to see, for instance, how it looks. I expect you got Bogatov. I think they're playing. Who they're playing last game? So I'm not sure. Anyway, so there you are. So, but again, if you're not on it, if you're not concentrating, you're going to lose. So, other results yesterday was that's today's results. Other results was Palmerias 2 over Ahly. What's it called? 2-0. Inter Milan 2-1 over Portugal. Porto, not Portugal. Porto, but Portugal. But yeah, 2-1. 1-0 down, coming back after Messi saved them again. Saved Inter Milan to beat Porto. Seattle Sounders 1, Atletico 3. Yeah, so Juventus 5-0. But as I said, like for instance, it's you know it's interesting. Really it's the tables now. So I think this Club World Cup is really going to take off. And yeah, so for instance, Inter Milan, Palmerias are on the same points as Inter Milan, 404, Porto 1, and Ahly 1. So Porto's going to struggle to get through. They need to win the last game to qualify for the next round, really. And yeah, so Palmeiras and Milan just need a point, really, to qualify. Yeah, so boom, boom, boom. And PSG, Botafogo, and Atletico, that's going to be interesting to see, for instance, who wins that one. Seattle Sounders, not the worst team, but was go, but so it's going to be it's going to be yeah. But Munich, and they got Munich, Benfica, blah blah blah, and they got Chelsea games today. But yeah, but it just shows you, for instance, it's hotting up, and again, you look like Porto, for instance, could be the first European team out. So there you are. There you go. There you go. Mm. So what's that? Yeah, so it just means that when a win is a win, and regardless how it comes, and as long as you go away with 3 points, and that's it. So all we need is what two wins and a draw, maybe, for instance, to qualify for, and with City's group, etc., with Juventus. I think the chance of getting Real Madrid, I believe, for instance, in the quarterfinals, etc., could be tricky. But it depends on who finishes top and who finishes second. So I think it's important City win the group. Right. City news. Okay. Ferran Soriano has been chatting. Sporting director, or sporting director, he's a chairman, isn't it? Yeah, what's it called? Talk about the Cup World Cup. Said it's something very needed. Soccer is global, and we have to make it. It's global, and we have to make it global. You have a team like Manchester City playing teams like Morocco, uh, Korea, or whatever. The part of the global celebration of the number one of sport. And it looks like he's chatting with Jack Gorn. For Man City's transfer signings, I'm happy with the work we did. Last summer, we only bought one new player, only spent 20 million quid. People seem to forget. But this year, between winter and summer, it will be 8. As part of the annual renewal of the squad, we accelerated some of it, and now we're very happy with the squad. So, right. Okay. On the Club World Cup again, it's very proud to be. We're very proud to be a part of the Club World Cup. It's a global football club. We are a global football club. We have our roots. And we're proud of. But you can be local, relevant, and faithful to the history of the club, and fans that support you. But you also can be global. So and show what we do, which we believe is beautiful football to the world. It's a combination that works very well, and we're very proud. I think it's great initiative that we're very happy to be here. Which is an important thing you need to say that, really, because again, City fans, this disconnect of City fans between the club, etc., regarding football tickets, etc., and the way they don't want City to go down the United way, the way they don't give a crap about the local fans, and only care about for instance, their image and being the biggest club in the world, like nobody gives a crap about. But it's important that, for instance, he needs to understand. I have no problem about new fans. I've got no problem about new fans being in Manchester, being a Man City fan. But like I'm going to come on with typical City yesterday, who mentioned it yesterday. It's important that, for instance, City need to be staying grounded to the club who we are. In 1975, I had a big chat with my father. Was to go why City and why United and not United. I was on Piccadilly Radio, Piccadilly Station. I was on a train, and I said to him, why City over United? And he said Manchester City are United. Manchester City are the Manchester club because they care about Manchester, the Mancunian people, the Manchester brand. Where United only care about being the biggest club, and that was in 1975 on a train. I remember it vividly. Now, me and my father never got on very well, but I remember, for instance, and I was allowing to go to support United, but for instance, common sense and the Julia Blues, etc., for instance, and meeting Joe Corrigan, Dennis Stewart, and Colin Bell, for instance, all changed my mind. But the Man City are a Manchester club, and where United only care about being the biggest club. So, and when they moved out of the city, regardless of boundary changes or whatever, they moved out of the city. It opened a lot of people's eyes to think United's ambitions are not for the club, for the area, are for global. They want to be global. Okay, and I don't mind City going as long as having fans from our have a name, people knowing people, me being in Thailand, etc., and seeing people walking around with City shirts. No problem with that, as long as you respect the club, the players, and who we are as a football club. Very important, which brings me on to typical City, who called out a lot of Manchester City fans last season. Only a minority, again, but as it's only a minority, but the minority always affects the majority. And they called them out because of the some of the calling of the football fans, football players, and Pep out, Pep the ball fraud, Bernardo, Ilkay, Kovacic, how we get rid of him, sell him, these are the guys who actually won the four trophies, so for instance, and these are the guys who went unbeaten top 10. These are the guys who took us to Wembley. These are the guys, for instance, who stalwarts have been loyal to the club. So, for instance, I think I have no problem with criticism in any way whatsoever. And players being criticised again. For instance, if you ask me about Jack Grealish, I'll tell you. For instance, I don't think he has done enough himself, I still have great respect for Jack Grealish and Kyle Walker. There's a way of being respectful towards a player and to what they've done, and not forgetting what they've done and how they've helped us in the past. And if it's time to move on, let them move on. Go with that good gracious, but don't slag them off or slag off City, talking Pep Guardiola's private life, talking about that. That is not being a City fan. That is not being a football fan. Full stop for me. That is just puke. That is just bad. For being a fan. So honestly, and if we're recruiting fans like this, just because we've had a disappointing season, doesn't mean that with the club is we're completely blown up. You don't listen to the media, because again, the media will just spin it in the way they want to spin it. They're happy that Man City blow up, and they want City to have this, and they want fans to call up their radio shows. Oh, he needs to go. He needs to go. He needs to. Don't listen to it. It's just crap. You don't want to listen to it. And it's just, again, it just drives me absolutely crazy when I listen to fans calling the club, after one season of where we haven't won anything. And we actually won the Charity Shield regardless. But I know we still got top three, and we're in the Club World Cup, and we've had a bit of a brought in new players, and what's the problem, honestly? For instance, I just again, no problem with it's just for instance, rather than just belittling a player, booing them, and things just with this disappointment. Christ, all the teams actually won a last season of the Premier League. Did they win anything? Brentford anything? Win anything? Norwich anything? But just like Anyway, so be a fan, and support the club, and that's what we are, football supporters. and it's okay to criticise, no problem, but it's got to be justified. So big up typical City for doing what you did yesterday. You know, and again, you could lose your subscribers, you could use whatever, but I can understand that. But the fact it needs to be said, you can't have a fan base so critical. I see United fans, I see Spurs fans absolutely dishing the players. He's so shit, he's so crap, whatever. You know, and how can you say that against your own player? And then what's the goal? He scores a goal. Oh, he's wonderful, he's wonderful. How can you be so two-faced? You know, absolutely. What will the Premier League continue? The Premier League continue. I don't have a game. So, for instance, what we're going to talk about and what is Top Sports going to talk about today, the fact that City were fined £2.9 million for this stupid, I don't understand, this 1 minute coming on for one late coming back, fined 120 quid for that. It's just ridiculous. And it appears that we've done it a few times. We did it the previous season, we got fined, and now we've been fined again. What's it called for it? Starting the game, delaying the BBC, IT or Sky Sports, you know, difference. Not one. Man City got a bit late. Not one. I don't understand. But Talksport, White and Jordan, they're going to be on this bank. Considering Man City were not the one, I believe Arsenal also did it as well. But I'm sure they'll bring Man City into it 100%. Right, for instance, the transfers, Jack Grealish, for instance, 45 million to Napoli. Can't see the inside truth, that's a lot of money. But you never know. Let's see what happens. What's it called? The players are back at the training camp, doing nicely. Nathan Aki was asked about the walk-on of the players in the Club Cup. Do you think we should be doing that? No. Honestly, think like do that the week, every day, every time in the Premier League. You get bored after a week. You know, honestly, at one time, it's just stupid. You know, so let's just keep it as it is. It's stupid walk on. You know, I just can't see the point of it. It's just not American football. It's not the NFL. You know, and it just the final of the NFL. Appears that Riyad Mahrez called Bernardo Silva to say, look after my mate. For instance, Raya Ignori, for instance, so look after him. Yeah, absolutely right. Major transfers going on with Liverpool. I don't know what they're doing. Asking to spend 175 million for Isaac. You know, for instance. If that's true, honestly, for instance, breaking the British transfer record twice in one season, spending all this money, and who's getting cut for spending money in Man City? It just doesn't make sense, does it? I mean, you just can't believe it. If Man City did that, it would be like, because they've just listened to Rio Ferdinand go on about it. You know, how can Man City, with all these charges, spend all this money? And he got cooked because he said, we not only we send money, he said, we've earned over $500 million in our players for Rio Ferdinand. Who does he play for? The stacked Rio Ferdinand for his biased commentary. So, but again, anyway, so I'm sure another day I'll sit trashing, but I'll try and watch the Club World Cup and enjoy the football and see what happens with the guys in training, see what they're doing. For instance, was it Mary Fowler? For instance, she's been nominated for one of the awards. So sorry, I do remember seeing that. I was going to mention it, but I forgot. Mary said the ladies Euros is going to start very soon as well. I keep a good eye on that one, and big up to the ladies, for instance, who are part. Anyway, guys, so for instance, I love you and leave you. So for instance, and yeah, see what happens. Guys.